We will tear your souls apart.
Hello everyone, today's video is to wrap the Alien/Predator series. Today I'll be talking about Alien Romulus in 2024, which came out last year. It was directed by Fede Alvarez, who did the 2013 Evil Dead remake, the 2016 horror movie Don't Breathe, and he wrote the 2022 requel Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He did a decent job directing this movie. So far in his filmography career, he's directed classics and modernized them. I did like his Evil Dead remake. From watching this movie, you can tell he did his homework, watching the original Ridley Scott Alien to pay tribute and homage to a classic. Well, not directed by Ridley Scott this time, he was one of the producers of this movie, but I highly doubt he did much work on this movie. It would not surprise they had him on for producer for marketing this movie. I read this was almost going to be released on Hulu, but thankfully they kept the spirit alive of releasing this movie in the movie theaters. This is a midquel, just like Scream with the term requel. A midquel is another term I never heard of until this movie. What is a midquel, you might ask? Basically, a midquel means a sequel that takes place or did not happen right in between the first or second movies. Going into this movie, I didn't know what to expect, what direction they were going for this movie. This is not a follow-up sequel to Alien Covenant. This movie takes place in between the first Alien movie and Aliens. I saw this in the movie theaters last year when it came out. I did like it, but I'm not sure if I liked it where I thought, yeah, this movie was awesome, and again, the movie was good and okay, but once again, it does not come close to topping the first two Alien movies. But this movie still did have some decent entertainment to it. But of course, in preparation for this movie review, I rewatched it again for this video. Unlike Prometheus, this movie wasn't too complicated or a whole lot of deep logic thinking into it like Prometheus had. What I don't understand is that how is it they had a prequel trilogy to this Alien series set up, and yet somehow they went in a different direction and made this movie instead of a follow-up sequel to Prometheus and Alien Covenant. I'm sure there's a story behind this. I just don't know all the facts behind this story. But you know, despite the Alien Covenant was a semi-hit and well-received, but I still wasn't too crazy about that movie. When I first heard the title of this movie, my first thought was that, what does Romulus mean? And I looked it up, it turns out Romulus means Rome. This movie follows a similar formula like the first Alien movie, where it's slow paced, built into suspense where they go on the mission to find the destroyed ship from the first Alien movie. When the characters go on the abandoned spaceship, it's like the first Alien movie where people compare the old classic haunted house elements. The characters don't listen, should not go to the spooky old abandoned haunted house, but of course, they break the rules and go anyway. We feel like we're back in the world where the first Alien movie bought us. You have these two orphans who reunite with old friends. They want to go steal equipment from the abandoned spaceship LV-410 from the first Alien movie so they can build a better lives for themselves. Their families are gone, dying from work-related accidents or diseases from the planet. This movie has a little social commentary on class. The character Rain, played by Kaylee Spaney, was raised by Andy, who was like an older brother, father, and mother in all three roles. Her parents died. She was rejected for not being qualified to leave the planet for not putting enough work hours. She wants to be a farmer, wants to go to the Yavagi planet. She wants a better life for herself than what her parents had. She does a good job in this movie, a little bit more interesting than the last character in the last Alien movie. The scene where she shows a bunch of aliens, her and Andy are flying against gravity while they're trying to avoid getting the alien acid blood on them, which was interesting, clever, and something a little bit different that I had not seen before in the Alien series. She had to float fast because they're at the lowest level of the ship. If the acid got to the ground, the blood acid would have gone right through the ship and they would have been sucked into space. This is very tense and suspenseful. When Ray goes to save Andy, the look at imagery felt like Aliens. Just like Aliens, the countdown begins before the ship explodes. When Ray shows a bunch of aliens, it felt like a callback to Alien when Ripley goes full badass mode. Being a diehard Alien fan is another one of those, yeah, I get the reference and tribute to this movie. Seeing the AI recreation of the late great Ian Holm as Ash, the android, brought me back to my childhood. What doesn't make any sense is that Parker burned Ash. I'm not sure he still had leftover parts or was still alive. The one thing that did not change about Ash in this movie is that he's still an evil, ruthless, sadistic robot. Despite you don't need to watch the last two before this movie, they did not ignore Prometheus Alien Covenant. The black goo is back, and Rook calls it the Prometheus Fire. It also doesn't make any sense from what I've read is that this is not the same model Ash, which can be a little bit confusing, but has the same goal as the original Ash. He doesn't care if the humans live or die. Another one of those, don't question it too much, take it with a grain of salt and move on. I learned that Ian Holmes' fan was okay using AI recreation of Ian Holmes as Ash's robot, which I'm surprised. Especially how AI has been very controversial and worries for a lot of people these days. And if you look closely in this movie at the computer, there was a picture of Kane. Again, I rarely point out Easter eggs. They show the same grappling hook Ripley used in the first Alien movie to shoot the alien to outer space. They explain the events of what happened in the first Alien movie. And he's an android they bring on the mission because he speaks mother's language on the Wayland ship. He feels like he's a burden on the mission, but Ray does not see it that way. He's a functional android from the beginning until he had some malfunctioning problems. And it gets Ash's microchip. It alters his personality, not realize that Ash's microchip was a rotten chip. He doesn't follow orders as planned, and he uses calculation of each person's survival rate calculation statistics. Despite he could have saved Kay's life, instead of protecting Rain, his new goal is to follow in Ash's footsteps in the Wayland Company to get a xenomorph alien. Despite being programmed as an evil robot, Rain still believes that deep down there is still some good in Andy. It has the usual throwback tribute lines of paying tribute to the classics, get away from me, you bitch. Use a dictionary, get a thesaurus. Copying lines from the original just makes it lazy. I might as well pop in the original Alien Aliens. When Andy said, get away from her, he pauses. You bitch! I'm thinking, yeah, Sigourney Weaver said it better. The way he said it's like a robot, but then again, his character was a robot. It has some good visual production design, despite that they're not miniature sets and it's CGI. Besides paying tribute to classic Alien lines, we see familiar technology that we saw in the first Alien movie. Isabel Merce in recent years has become a popular meme. Anytime I've gone on social media, use a picture of her, this movie, or any other movie she's done, the memes say I came here to watch Alien Romulus for the plot, meaning her because how beautiful she is. Around the time when this movie came out, she was in Madam Web, one of the worst movies from last year, one of the worst Marvel movies. It makes Spider-Man 3 a better movie, but that's a different story right there. Not to get off topic, I saw that in the movie theaters last year, Madam Web, and I don't know why. Maybe because I was bored, I had nothing else to do. So I figured, okay, let's check it out. Boy, that was a waste of my time and money. This is a rebound for her. She had one movie that failed and it hit the same year. We find out that her character is pregnant. Her brother doesn't even know about it yet. Just when we thought that she was dead, but no, she was in the cocoon and she is saved. But wait till later on that one. The character Bajorn is a cliched asshole, thinks he's a know-it-all, and yet he's the father of Kay, soon-to-be pregnant child. And here's the weird disturbing part about him being the father of Kay's baby. Kay and Bajorn are cousins. Basically they had an incestuous relationship. It's not even mentioned that they are cousins, but it's hinted. He lost his family in a mine accident, doesn't like robots because they failed to save his parents. It sounds like I, Robot, similar to how like Ripley had prejudice and no trust in androids. He saves Kay from a face hugger, he gets acid on his blood and dies. It's not easy to say, but it's not really a big loss for this character, I hate to say it. Kay's brother Tyler, there really wasn't much of this character. Typically cliche guy we thought was going to be a survivor at the end with Ray, but no, he dies at the end of this movie. I did like the scene when he gets stuck in a cryo chair with Bajorn with face huggers. Another tense, suspenseful scene, especially how the door was busted, would not open. It was one of those moments where he almost got a face hugger on his face, but he dodged it. He teaches Rand how to use a gun. He tells me he learned how to use guns from video games and magazines. This is another throwback when Hicks taught Ripley how to use weapons. He dies saving Rand and Kay's life. Navarre's another character, sad to say, there's not much to say about her. She's just there and she dies, that's it. Despite a face that gets on her face, they remove it. We all know what happens here. It was still too late to save her because she had the face hugger on her face for too long. It's another usual ending on just when they think it's all safe, but no. There was an alien inside of Kay. Like I said throughout this entire Alien video series, the aliens are born from chest bursters. This time the alien came out of Kay's vagina. Her baby is half human, half alien, half engineered DNA, calling it the offspring. The offspring kills his mother. For a minute there I thought Isabel Mercer was going to survive this movie. She came close though. It looks identical to the engineer Prometheus but skinnier. The engineer Prometheus was built probably a Greek god. I'm probably not the first person to point this out or say this. I'm sure other YouTubers have said this before, that the offspring is looked at metaphorically of incest. Don't have incest relationship with your cousins. Well, not a great or perfect movie. I liked and enjoyed it slightly a little bit better than Prometheus prequel movies, but that's just me. Nothing new or special that original, just a basic fun alien movie to shut your brain off and relax. The first 15 to 20 minutes a little bit slow, but it picks up once the characters go on the mission. I get what they were going for, but this movie's not a Midquel. I would have been just okay if this movie was its own thing with a new set of characters, similar to Star Trek The Next Generation. The characters are just alright, mediocre cliched, some interesting and some just have no arc to them. They're just there to die and that's it, some of them, not all of them. The dynamic bond between Rain and Annie was good and okay. When I rewatched this movie, it occurred to me how I know these actors are in their 20s, but they look like teenagers. Another movie that just pays tribute and stays in the same spirit as the original Alien movies. This movie felt like it was directed by a fanboy living his dream of fantasy and directing his Alien movie that he always wanted to direct. A dream movie that came true for him. It's a legacy sequel. To this movie's credit, they used practical effects. H.R. Geiger's and Stan Winston's alien practical effects still lives on. In Alien Covenant, we didn't see much of the xenomorph aliens in that movie. In this movie, we still see a little bit more screen time for the xenomorph aliens. I will give the movie credit for that, but if you're someone who just started out getting into the Alien franchise, this is not a movie to start off with, especially if you won't be familiar with the throwbacks of the original Alien movies they throw in this movie. My advice, start with the classic original Ridley Scott's Alien from 1979 and gradually build your way up. If they make another one to the Alien series, Lord knows what they could do at this point. As far as what's next for this franchise, I know a sequel's being worked on, but I honestly don't know what the story behind it is. For now, what I will do is wait and see what happens, go in blind, and see if it will surprise me or not. Someone commented in one of my Alien videos that Sigourney Weaver is talking to Disney and returning the franchise. That will be cool, but at the same time, for now, my fingers are crossed for now. That wraps up the Alien/Predator series. Stay tuned tomorrow for the Evil Dead series. Back in May this year, I did a podcast with my friend and buddy Wolfman Sam talking about the Evil Dead franchise. But you're going to see that in clips and breaking down and talking about each Evil Dead movie, one by one. Then after that, the Evil Dead series, it will be the usual miscellaneous horror movie videos throughout the month of October. See you next time.